What's up? Coming for another session of the models feature in Bulifier. I continued a little bit since yesterday to working on these features. I'm going to show you my progress, and today I hope to finalize it. So let's go. Um, Let me show what I have so far. Let's run this. Okay, and see a black screen. Why do I see a black screen? Why it's so slow? Okay, it's here. So when going to AI, yeah, I clicked it, now waiting for it to load. It shows context file 6. This is the new feature. And when I click on it, it shows all the files. I can remove them and it comes down to 4. Now what I want to add some toggle here to select and deselect everything. And it's not yet connected to actual execution. It's still using the old logic. So going to work on those now. I actually already sent a prompt to Gemini to add the toggle button. So let me share that with you. Yeah. So I asked it add the button to add a button for select the selector, and I gave it the compose. So let's see what it gives me back. Okay. See how it looks like. And we don't need the dummy implementation for compilation. No need for the comment. Okay. And so instead of the modifier, select the select all, and it adds it. No, sorry. For the modifier, just added a comment. So I just change it to 8 dp. That's fine. Are all selected? Calculate if it's selected or not. And then on click on selection change. It's a new callback. Yeah, it looks valid to me. But I don't see the new. Oh, here it is. Here's the new callback. Okay. So let's integrate the new callback. On all selected, we need to add that this method. Select. Sometimes the ID is so slow. Okay. So where did I do? the file, the other selection of the context. So the context files. Yeah, this is what I did. I added load context files and reset context files, and it works with it like that. So I guess I need to do something very similar. I have the context files. I don't need the git ignore stuff. I'm using the git ignore to select the initial context. And then gets the files, but we don't need to get the files since we already have them. Those are the files. We do map. We will map it. Actually, we can just do it, copy, and is selected equals to select all. Yeah, I think just like that. I think this is the only thing we need to do. And then that generate a new list. And we should be fine. Let's see if it worked out. My eyes are inside Android Studio, so occasionally I'm checking that I'm streaming the right thing. Right, and let's see. It's super slow on the emulator, but then when I'm launching it on actual device, it's pretty fast. So let's see. 6 files, deselect all, select all. Yeah, looks good. Except I then don't like the position of deselect all. But beside that, oh nice, and it's changed from deselect all to select all. Neat. Yeah, I like this. So let's go to context dialog. Let's just change the UI so it has arrow with text button and just one element. Why to put it inside a row? Oh, because it wanted to position it at the end. Okay. But I want to position one at the start and one in the end. So let's change it to box, I think. Yeah, we don't need this one. And that will be the line center start shown. And then this one will be center and I think. And we can preview it. We don't need to run the emulator. Let's see how it looks like. Oh, actually didn't build a preview for the dialog. Let's create a preview for it. Files. So happen to list stuff. Come on. Um, okay, yeah, but it shows here that we have them in the same row. Yeah, so it looks good. Let's say let's run this. Wait, am I showing Android Studio? Oops, sorry. I wasn't showing it the right thing. Yeah, here's the file. Here's how it looks like. And select all in context file are the same row. That was the modification I was doing earlier. I need to get used to use the OBS. This is what I'm using for streaming. Yeah. So now the monitor runs. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. So select all works and deselect works. All right, this is great. And now we need to connect it to the actual context. So that's a little bit more tricky portion of it. So the way it works is I have somewhere a call for select that happens inside history view model. I'm calling all the job items history items, and this is why it's called history view model. So there is a send, so get the model prompt, doc file and execute mode. Then it creates history item, which is um, yeah. So this status submitted, this is what triggers the entire thing. I'm running it on a separate service. Is it listening for the database calls using Chrome database here, and it's looking at the status and listening for submitted, and then starts to process it. And in here, in this two item, we have something related to context files. And this is the thing that we need to populate. So context files, what it accepts. So it's IDs. So it's long ID of list of list of longs. So we need here context files. No, list long context files of the type long. Okay, and let's not make it optional. So for send, Let's request context files. And I have another place for load request. This is for the self prompt mode. Okay. And that should do. So now I just need to deal with the main screen and provide the context files here. Those will be context files filter, it selected, map to it idea. That's perfect. It is coming from one click, so I'm not too concerned about performance. All right. So now we are sending context files. Are we done? Not quite. What we need to change next is the template. Um, you don't see it because it's behind the screen, but I'm just navigating to templates, just project, and I'm going to the templates. So entering the schemas. This is our current schema for Bulifier. Bulifier is a name from the previous iteration of Bulifier. I kind of kept the name. What it's doing, it's creating files. And those are the placeholders. And let's see, it's working with all files context. So this is what we're going to check to change. Instead of that, we use inside chat Bullify schema, we have files for context, and we will use that instead. So I'm just replacing it. The way it works, not sure how to call this sign, but I'm using it because it's not something I can mistakenly insert inside my text. So I kind of choose this special sign. Anyway, files for context exist. So if file for context exists, then it will execute the inner body of the schema. And files for context, this is just the title. And then files for context, this is what we give it. So what populates that? Maybe we're already done, but let's see. There's the schema loader that loads all those things. And load file for context, this is what it's going to do. It's going to put each file inside that. I'm not sure. This is how I was working with it before. This is what I want to do now, but before I was working with that whole file context. Yeah, actually it's doing the same thing. Okay, yeah, then perfect. It's exactly the same. So now it just theoretically supposed to work. So let's just run it and see. And if that works, if you want to implement the model feature, you already have this model flow, then building the units will be as simple as telling it create unit tests. I think that's all what it's needed. Okay, let's see. Dear emulator, why you take so long time to load? Right. So the way to test it is let's just give it one file as a context. Let's give it the model as the context. And actually, let's do what we want to do. Let's give it a model and let's give it the tests. Oh, wait, that's all. I have tests here, tests Poker, but I think I have files inside there that are docs. Oh, I know what they are not showing up because I added them to ignore list. So context git ignore, it ignores MD files. So I probably need to remove that. Why? It's so slow. Okay, so now let's try this again. Select all, deselect. Um, okay, I think there is an issue. So for select all, it selects everything and deselect it's working great. But it loads the files only when it's empty. So now when I will enter it, sorry, when I will enter it because zero is special case. This is my trigger condition, but I see that it didn't load anything. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think there is an issue. Let's enter the app. Just when I thought I'm about to be done with the feature, I'm not. Yeah, you see, now I jump to 11. And now we have those empty files. And we probably don't need folders here, just files. I don't need tests. And I want it to be ordered nicely. Oh well, we need to go to the view model and need to go to the functions that doing the reset. Reset. Okay. So in here, no, sorry. Reset context files. In here, we are doing this is the gitignore file, and we're doing it files. And now what I want is for those files. Oh, let's call it this one. Yeah, taking the get files for project ID equals project ID, and let's add order by path family. Okay, so that needs to be ordered alphabetically. And I have two solutions to eliminate the folder, either on the database level or in here. I'm just not sure who else is using this function. Who else is using that? So it's used in chat. Well, where it's extracting context. Yeah, truly don't want to dive too deep into this to figure out what that thing is doing. So let me just filter it outside. So instead of doing map, I'll do a filter first. And I will only take it is file. And we probably don't want to take anything binary as well for context, right? And it's not binary. Yeah. Oh, I probably don't want to take anything that it's a git node. Um, so not ignored, not binary, and is a file. Okie dokie. So now we should get a list of files. But we still didn't solve the issue with how we are listening to this context file being changed, and we need to reload the list without exiting the app. I can certainly listen for changes for this file and then trigger reset for each time this file is changing. Feels too heavy. So each time when you open, okay, what I can do, I can check it on this spot. I'll do it like that. It's less ideal. Actually, I have the hash of the file inside the database. I can play with the hash. I think I'll use that solution. So load context files. That thing is coming from, yeah, just when we show the bottom menu. And I'm only checking that the context file is empty, called the reset, that will use the new context. So each time when the files are empty, we are doing the reset. It's a tough one. Should we do a reset each time that the files are empty? Because who would know that? I want the context files to be preserved when you're closing and opening it, if you made some selection. But if you selected nothing, or if you selected all, I probably want to run a reset. I think it will be even smarter to show how many selected versus non-selected files we have. But just the entire thing makes it complex. I don't have a good solution. Um, all right, I'm going to hide it under the rug. I don't have a good solution for it for now. Yeah, I'm just not going to solve it at the moment. Probably not ideal, but I can think of a better solution. Yeah. Right. Let's see what we have now. Maybe we can move on to the next best thing. And after this execution, I'm going to reset the emulator. It's just so slow. So now the only change we did, we want to see only files, no folders in alphabetic order. And it looks like we got what we want. So let's spin it. So we have okay, we have all those test files. Oh, come on. This is why I made it so the selection will be preserved. Many times it happens to me that I'm closing those pop-ups by mistake. Um, okay, so we want all those files, and the prompt should be just implement the unit tests, something like that. So let's examine that. It's a bit hard to read here, so let's read it outside. It's a small hack that I'm doing. Kind of removing my code and just placing it here. Um, I cannot do it like that. System rules, pay attention for details. I work on a poker project. Okay. Now what we want to see is for actual context. So files for context and let's see what we have here. So let's search for that. The first one is poker. Second one, sorry. Yeah, first one is poker. Then the test, and another test, and a summary. Yeah, I think this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. So I think I earn to commit this now. We got context. Okay. And now that we have context, I'm curious to see what it will produce when we actually going to run it. So let's give it a spin. Where is my prompt? Implement the unit tests and send. We are working with, okay, all 3 minutes. Okay. Well, next thing that we need to do is actually execute those tests. And the way I plan to do it is when you're inside tests folder, you those are the execution of docs, this error, but I'm planning to do something similar. Um, and there are several options to do it, to to have the trigger. Okay, here are the results. Okay, so before I tell you what's my plan, let's see what it generated. Okay, so it's doing a require poker model. Then it's using describe and bunch of tests. I like it that it takes exactly the name from the test and just using it. Wow, looks pretty good. Um, Where did it come up with the expect method? Is it something from Jazz? Because, yeah, sorry, not very Jazz knowledgeable. I want some explanation. So going to the browser. Hopefully, I will not forget to switch back. Please explain to me this text. Panel using chart. All right. Okay, it's using jest. All right. Now for our case, we cannot run it in that manner. Um, we will need to use something to run it in on the phone, right? How it works with npm? It just yeah npm test. Yeah, we can't do exactly that. So let me show you how I plan to do this, and then let's try and get there. So looking at the emulator, we have, like if you go to Bulifier and schemas, then you have those two action buttons, reset and apply. Also use those buttons when you're inside text file. So see the action buttons are changing to something else. So I'm thinking to add action buttons when you're inside tests to run, and then it will run all those tests. And one thing that I don't like is this connection where it says that poker game and it's required poker model. I guess it's not that bad, but it means that I'll need to take care of the imports. I know it's not total disaster, but another thing to maintain. Anyway, let's have another button for execution, and this button will execute all the tests, and we will get some response, and there will be potential issues, and we will want to fix them, and so we'll feed it to AI for fixing. And so the ways that we are going to build this, I think, we'll start with just an output on the screen with the test results, and then it will be possible to take those test results and feed to AI. I think this is the most basic future support. Then in the future we can automate this portion so it will be kind of in a loop of testing, improving, testing, improving. I think that will be very neat. Okay, so let's start by hitting a button. Um, so I think I have here somewhere logic for schemas. So if you're inside the schemas folder, then it will, oh, actually, it's Bulifier now. So it's when you're inside Bulifier schemas folder, it will start triggering, do stuff. Yeah, main menu. So in here, it says is on schemas path. And similarly, we need to say is on tests path. And our path is just equals to tests. Where am I? Main button menu. Okay. Am I showing you the code? Yes. Okay. Just making sure that I'm not talking to myself again. Which I actually am, because I don't think there anyone else in this live stream. Yeah. Well, not talking to myself for the future viewers of this video. Yeah, funny like that. He's on test pass. Let's see how that thing is used. Okay, so it just buttons under condition. And we really need just one button in here. What did I do? Yeah. So action button, tests, and trouble for running tests. Yeah, not that. Um, is OpenAI smart enough to kind of suggest me troubles? Can it do things like that? Suggest me a trouble for running tests. Using like this. Okay. Can you give me something? Request run execution something. Grant if you're testing debugging, automation, validation. Um, okay. Wow. Lots of offers. Let's just go with player. I think it's the same one that I'm already using for the doc files. Yeah, amazing. Well, okay, that was cool. And so the trigger for it will be on run tests. Okay, what did I broke? I just give it a default value, so it's not breaking anything. Yeah, I like breaking things. So it's been called from, why it's called from two places. Main bottom menu. It says file content menu preview, but it's not annotated with a preview. Huh. Very, very suspicious. Who's using it? No one. So it's indeed intended to be used as a preview. Very, very odd. Why can't I mark it as a preview? What's up with that? Oh, okay. I know. Anyway, it's not what we've been looking for. So main menu, this one. So here, when the user clicks on tests, we need to do something. Right. So we are at run point. We're going to run it, and then we want to show another pop-up with the results. So let's add the results somewhere here with another pop-up. Show test results by main view model, show test results. Yep. But show test results, I want the actual results. Where do I take the results? I need to maintain flag to show it and the results themselves. Yeah, I guess it will be overkill to try and combine them into one thing. So let's create here, well, show test results is a pure UI thing, actually. So this is just by, oh, I remember, and the actual test results will come from here. So it'll be just a string. Okay, so we have test results, we have results. No idea yet how we are going to populate the test results, but we do have them. And now, oh my god, this file is getting enormous. If show test results, then test results dialog. Yeah, looks about right. That in here file. Okay, so now we can implement this, and we will do it with our buddy Gemini. Please implement dialog should test results. Double review content and to show it and allow the user to con- copy the results to clipboard. And copy to clipboard, I already have some implementation for that. Let's make sure it's using the same thing. Copy to clipboard. Okay, so this is the icon. Let's for the execution. Text copy. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is the one. Clipboard manager set text. Okay, so I guess it's just something super default in the system. All right, never mind. We just say that this is how we use clipboard manager. Okay, so clipboard use that. Okay, let's see now if it's going to fulfill our request. Nice, it's also needed to preview. Let's take it all. Actually, I'm going to continue this later on. So, see you for now.